Yes, people. Welcome back to another edition of the ManDem United podcast on the Sarcasm City TV YouTube, brought to you by myself, Flawless Mr. Take Note. And like I start each and every live show on the channel, big up to everybody who continues to support the channel in whatever capacity. It's much appreciated and it does not go unnoticed in it. So large up everyone who is supporting the channel. Big up everyone as always. Like I always say, whether you in the comments when the show's live, whether you have the show on live and you have it on in the background, whether you listen back to the show, watch the show back afterwards, or you listen via one of the audio platforms as well, SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes. Big up to everyone who continues to support. But please make sure whether you're watching the show live right now or you are watching this back, hit the like button on the video, share it across all the socials, and subscribe to the channel Sarcasm City TV as well. And make sure when you subscribe, hit the notification bell as well. Roll to 4K, so hit the notification bell. But this is the ManDem United podcast, people, and it is a podcast dedicated to all things Manchester United. So, and I will get to all the questions in the comments as well. But please keep all your comments and questions Manchester United related. I am going to be joined by a couple special guests today. So I'm going to introduce the first special guest, I believe, making his debut. So this is long awaited, isn't it? Making his debut, have a great channel called Free in Midfield that he's a part of. I've been on Usman Talks United with him as well. Very knowledgeable United fan. You know me, I only get the best over here. Very knowledgeable United fan, always running bants and jokes as well, and very straightforward. That's what I like about him, just like straight talking, calls a spade, like cut through it. If he rates a player, he'll tell you. If he don't rate a player, he'll tell you 110%. So making his debut on the channel, my like Kojo from Free in Midfield. Yes. What are you telling me, my G? You good?
I'm wonderful, bro. Thank you for that intro, by the way. That was beautiful, man.
Yo, man, it's only right, man. You know what I'm saying? You got to roll out. I roll out the red carpet when people come over to Sarcasm City TV. You get what I'm saying? It's only right.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. How you doing?
Yeah, man, all good, man. All good. It looks like, you know what I'm saying, we got some good stuff to talk about with Manchester United, finally. You know what I'm saying? Even though there's still off the field drama with the Pogba situation and everything, which we'll get into. The Ten Hag to Manchester United links intensify. That's why I titled this podcast episode what I titled it. So we'll start right there. You know what I'm saying? We'll kick it off there. Your thoughts on Ten Hag. Are you happy about it? Are you unhappy about it? Did you have somebody else above him? What are the pros and cons you think he brings? Do you think he'll be successful, etc.? Talk to us.
Yeah. Firstly, I'm not mad if he comes in. The main point is, we've had managers. I think we've had 4 permanent managers since Alex Ferguson left, and I really only believe that only one of them was truly backed in the windows, and that was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So Ten Hag is a man that has a good football style. I think is attractive to watch for the majority of fans. He's got a good philosophy. He sticks by it, so that's good. You're bringing in someone who doesn't, or you don't know what you're getting from him. You kind of know what you're getting from him. That's a good thing in these days because football these days is more about systems. The unpredictability of managers is no longer there. Now, when it comes to reservations, if I'm going to be honest, so it's not to say he's a bottler. I don't like using that term for managers. People go through stuff. Managers just sometimes can't get over the line, and that some moment they get over the line. It is what it is. But I look at 2 particular games, and it's kind of been his thing at Ajax. Now, Ajax has won titles, league titles, absolutely. When they've lost big players, they've lost them for big money, so they've had the money to sort of replace. And then obviously Ajax, with their history, have always brought through young guys. But my problem is in particular 2 games, the Spurs game, which they lost, obviously the famous one, the semi-final.
Yeah.
And actually 3 games, the Benfica game, and if everyone remembers the cup final they played against Man United in the Europa League under Mourinho.
Was Ten Hag the manager? Has he been managing there that long? That's crazy that was that long. Because that feels so like long ago. Because if I remember correctly, was because they had Donny van der Beek at that point, and I think was it Ziyech who was on the bench as well.
I think he was on the bench.
I think he was on the bench.
And had in defense a young Davinson Sanchez and a young De Ligt as well.
Mazza, that's crazy.
Yeah, so I remember those 3 games. Now, the Man United loss, I'm a bit more sympathetic, but I kind of had alarm bells ringing about him because I didn't know much about him back then. If I'm being brutally honest, I'm not going to come and tell you that I knew about him from day. I didn't, but because I'm a coach, a lot of other guys are like, no, this guy's good. Ajax are playing really well. You see the football they're playing in Europe. I was like, well, I don't watch their league, but in Europe they're playing very well. Yes. So obviously there's stuff about him that's good, but his teams tend to always struggle with a more direct style of football.
Okay.
Because they struggled with that direct style of football, what he did in that final, which annoyed me, was after the final. So instead of saying, yeah, they did this and we couldn't deal with it, it was more just like, I hate the style of football that they used to win the game. Okay, cool. And then you go to the Tottenham game. Tottenham tried to go toe-to-toe with Ajax. They tried to play football with Ajax, and they got scored. They got outplayed. And then they switched it up to a more direct, long ball style, and suddenly Ajax lost all sense of control of the game. And you are in total control of this. You beat them up at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and then you went ahead at home as well. So there was no reason for you to lose that game. But as soon as you change the style, it's like you don't know how to deal with it from maybe changing the style of play for your team, or maybe making them a bit more structured, sort of thing, compact.
Yeah.
And your players lost it as well. And you go to Benfica as well. They were 2-0 up in the first leg, conceded the 2 goals, went 2-2, and then obviously Benfica beat them 1-0 in Ajax in Amsterdam to progress through to the next round. And again, it was a direct style. So the point I'm making is, it's not that I don't believe in his style of football, but I don't want him to build a team where in the Premier League where you have a lot more teams with a lot more direct style of football, for him to build a team that struggles to deal with that, because we have a team that struggles to deal with that already.
Right. That so more direct style. I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, so he can rebuild the team, absolutely. But if he brings in players and brings in a style that can't adapt or struggles to play against a plan B style of football, that to me is a problem.
Okay, no, I have to hear that. I get your point. Like you said, like you already stated, I haven't watched it week in, week out. So everything I'm getting is just like from obviously people like yourself. There's others who watch more European football than I do that I talk to. One thing I do like about him, that he does have a set philosophy, a set style. Like you said, his system is set in stone, and that's what me as a United fan, I'm just crying out for. Like I don't care what the system is, just have one so we can identify Manchester United players. I say this all the time. You can see a player and go, he fits what Liverpool are trying to do. You can see a certain player and go, he fits what Manchester City are trying to do. With United, you don't know that. And you only need a season to change that. Like one window and a couple weeks, a few weeks, a couple weeks, but 4, 5, 6 weeks, and at least you can see what a manager is trying to do. Big up to everyone in the comments as well. Hit the like button if you haven't. Big up Wasim, who says, hello, Flawless. Will there be a Portugal-Turkey watch-along? Is that tonight? No, I won't be doing a Portugal-Turkey watch-along. I won't be. Like, international football doesn't move me. Large up to Jez as well. Brian also says Ten Hag wasn't the Ajax manager for the Europa League final. Okay, so he wasn't. Let me double-check that. Yeah, he wasn't. It was some guy called, what's his name? Peter Boss. Whatever his name is. Let me check when Ten Hag actually joined.
This is gonna sound so bad, but I got two bold heads in my mind. Yeah,
it's cool.
That's my fault. Apologies, guys. That's my fault.
Nah, it's all good, man. It happens, and let me check. I'm legit gonna check now and see actually when he started, because this is thing. So he started managing Ajax 28th of December 2017. That's when he joined.
So not too long after the final. Yeah. Okay, that's good. Okay.
It wasn't too long whatsoever. Not too long whatsoever. But yeah, man, we learning things. It's all well and good, people. It is. Big up disgruntled blogger in the cut. Yeah, Black Diamond, sometimes you don't get notifications. So you have to click it for the individual video. You have to, innit? And yes, like the stream. So outside of Ten Hag, because you mentioned his pros and his cons. So say he does actually land at Manchester United, what would you like to see him do in terms of personnel? Like, who do you see in his vision? And you're like, I reckon you can get something out of him. Whereas others, you're like, there's not a chance.
Oh, you know what? The funny thing is, yeah, if I'm being honest, I've been asked this question many times, and my number keeps increasing. I remember the first time I was asked, how many players would you keep at Man, or how many players would you sell at Man United and replace straight away? And I said 9 players.
Jeez.
And then 2 weeks ago, it increased to 14.
Wow. So you had 9 and you increased it to 14. Crazy.
There's a lot of players that I do not believe in this team, man. It's not even like they can't adapt to his. Actually, no, a lot of them can't adapt to his style of football. But I've lost all faith in these guys. I don't see where they improve. I don't see where they go forward. They do silly things. So I think it's easier for me to say people I'd keep.
Right. We can run that. We can run that in terms of players you would keep, and even specify even further. So players you look at and go, that's a first team player, or there's other players, and you're like, nah, that's a squad player. So go on, get it all off your chest. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm in the same boat where there's a lot of players I look at and go, I don't even want to see you under anybody. I don't think you can be saved.
All right. So I think To be honest, all the goalkeepers gotta be replaced. I mean, I do love De Gea. He's been legendary, but he won't play the football that Ten Hag wants to play. So as much as I love to keep him, it just makes sense to let him go.
Yeah.
So that's not a bad player sort of thing. Dean Henderson, I have no time for. Luke Shaw.
So before you go off Dean Henderson, because I will interrupt you at points here to even go further. What is it with Dean Henderson that makes you go no? Did you see him in that stint where he came in and played, and you're just like, that's not for you? Is there anything in particular that you don't like or you can't see him improving on?
I think he wasn't. I think he's a decent goalkeeper at best. I think Man United fans wanted him in the team because he can play with his feet better than De Gea, which is true. Yeah. Which is true. But we need someone that's also competent in goal. And if I'm being, without trying to sound too disrespectful, he kind of stinks of Ben Foster for me.
Ooh, shout! I hear you.
Yeah, I feel like he's got that kind of future in football where he leaves Man United, goes to a decent side, but then doesn't go to the next level again. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He's not going to go a step up. So now in terms of defenders, people are keep Varane. That's a starter.
Yeah.
Dalot as a squad player.
Okay.
Lindelof as a squad player. That's it for the.
Jeez. You know what I'm saying? So we got. So you currently. So we just to clarify, we've got no goalkeepers. We've got one centre back. We got two centre backs. One being a starter. One being a squad player, Dalot. So we got no starting fullbacks, and we got 0 left backs. Go on, carry on. I fully get where you're coming from. This is pretty much mine as well, so that's why I'm laughing. Go on, carry on. I'll let you run through the midfield.
Midfield, people I'd keep. Well, I mean, Pogba's going, which is unfortunate, but obviously, if he was going to stay, I would keep him. I feel like he's gone now at this point, which is fine.
Yeah.
But if he was to stay, I'd keep him. James Garner, I think that's a good player that we start giving first team football to. Okay. Hannibal as well. What's this guy's name? It's escaped me now. Bruno.
Youngster. Oh, yeah, go on.
Yeah, I give Bruno another year, but he needs to chill on some aspects of his football. So that's like a 1 year thing. Because I love the guy, bro. I'm one of his biggest fans, but he has made me mad. He's made me so mad recently.
Elaborate on that. What is it about Bruno that's made you so mad? Because I don't think, probably aside from Pogba, I think Bruno's the second guy that divides opinion. Either people like are big fans of him and love him, or you get people like myself who just like he frustrates and critique him heavily. So what is it about Bruno, even though you're a fan, that you dislike?
I think he's taken away the tidiness of his game. So I am admittedly I have like favorite clubs in different countries. Admittedly, Sporting Lisbon became one of mine because of Ronaldo when he was a youngster. I wanted to know what they were about. That's me just following them because of one guy. But bit by bit, I like Sporting, and I was watching him there. And it wasn't just his goal return and assist return that was so good. It was just the simplicity of his football.
Right.
That's all it is. Same thing for Portugal. Like obviously, at Portugal now, these days he frustrates a lot more as well. But when you play a simple game, you see a top footballer. And I feel like he's not doing that right now. So, as much as I love the guy, I feel like right now, in this generation where football, again, is about systems, you need to simplify your game because midfielders' roles are either to create goals or just keep the ball moving.
Thanks.
And that for me is why he needs to simplify his game fast. Because if he doesn't do that, knowing that, for example, Ten Hag has worked with Donny van de Beek in the past, he will not be afraid to bench Pogba and put Donny van de Beek in a system that makes Donny van de Beek flourish. Bruno. So Bruno just needs to simplify his game fast because he's a fantastically gifted footballer. He's technically gifted, so he just needs to smarten up. That's it for midfielders, by the way.
So that's it. So you're saying, and just before you continue, large up to Kevin Fraser for the super chat. This is all he says. He just put champions of Europe. We know what we are. This man of jokers. Big up all the Chelsea dons and that. United show up. I just jumping the super chat because I ain't reading that out if it's not a super chat. So big up to Kevin per usual, man. Much appreciated for the super chat. So for midfield, so you said Pogba, who's probably leaving. So Donny, are you 50 or 50-50 on Donny? Or you saying I keep him? So you're saying Donny, Bruno, who's basically on a year, like this is a trial. You know what I'm saying? It's a trial for a year. You got to deliver. So that's right. That's it. So there's no Matic, there's no Fred, there's no McTominay. You've obviously mentioned youngsters. Right, geez, look at this team. So we've legit got Bruno and Donny in there, and that's it. Like, go on, carry on. Go on, carry on with the attack.
And then we're talking about forwards now. Oh boy. I mean, Ronaldo's got 1 more year left, so that's fine. I'll keep him for that year because
Okay.
I feel like he'd adapt, and I feel like the player. I think actually the football that Ten Hag plays would fit Ronaldo. It's not about getting involved in the link up and that. They will find him. They'll create opportunities for him. If you play that style of football, you're going to create opportunities galore. So he's just to be in the right place at the right time, and he'll do that. Other than that, Rashford is also on 1 year left. Amad Diallo, absolutely, I'm keeping him. Jadon Sancho. I'm trying to think who else we got. Is there something on this?
So you've got, so in terms of, I'm trying to think.
Cavani's in no way.
So you got Ronaldo, Cavani, Rashford, Juan Mata, Lingard, Sancho, Diallo. Yeah, they're pretty much the more senior players. Obviously, when you start talking the likes of Palestri, they're much younger.
Oh yeah, well Palestri I like as well actually because I'm a Valencia fan, so I like to watch La Liga every now and then.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll keep Palestri as well. He's a decent young talent as well. He can be a squad player. Martial Martial can't come back. No.
So you're saying no to Martial. You're done with Martial.
I've been done for a while, my friend.
Yeah, go on, talk about it. Talk about it. Why have you been done?
So there's this video that keeps popping up where Van Persie sort of gives high praise to Martial about how he's pretty much like the all-round striker. And I don't even disagree. Don't get me wrong. Like, my thing is application. So, you know, when you are a player that is that gifted, you can do pretty much everything off the ball. And yes, injuries might have taken away his explosiveness, you know, the way he would more go at players and dribble with speed and all that. That's part and parcel of the game. But it's about application. Number one, whilst you had that sort of ability and talent before your injury, I don't feel like you utilized it enough. And then when it comes to after injury, if you are not the player that you once were in terms of your speed and your acceleration and how you dribble players, adapt your game. Change your game a little bit. You need to, because this is a guy that has said, I am a striker. I am a number 9. You threw a fit when Zlatan Ibrahimovic was giving your number. You got your number back. You had a good goal return in one season, and then you kind of fell off the cliff the next season. 4 goals overall. People are raving over one game against Man City that you had. Good game indeed, but it's one game. It's not enough for a 38 games league season. But it's just the application part of it. I've never not that he's one of those players I've seen where I look at you and I say, boy, you've got so much talent, but damn, you don't know how to apply yourself on a consistent basis. And if you're a top player, I'm not asking if you drop 10 out of 10 every game. I'm begging that your average is a 7 out of 10 for the season. I think that's a fair thing to ask for. If you're a top player, 7 out of 10 for the whole season, I think it's fine. You'll drop off a couple of 4 and 5s here and there. It happens, but that's where I've signed out. I just feel like he's not going to be that guy, and it doesn't know about going to leaving Man United and starting afresh and having a new start and all that, because that's what Sevilla was supposed to be about. And he's not. Sevilla fans are not even interested in keeping him anymore. They whistled him off the pitch.
Yeah, they did, because it started well, and then. He started well and then he got clapped in his first couple of games, and then obviously the last game that people are talking about, he got whistled off. So it's going to be interesting to see how that ends, because obviously they're still fighting to stay in the top 4, so obviously qualify for the Champions League next season for them. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. So you're saying Martial, well, Rashford, let's go on to him. What's your thoughts with him? Are you saying 1 more season? Are you done with Rashford? Like, where do you see him playing? Like, what's his best position in your eyes?
I'm giving him 1 more season. The reason why I give him 1 more season is because this is his first real bad patch of form.
Okay.
Now, Patch might be underplaying it because it's been whole season so far. So, you know, that's if I'm going to be 100%. But I am not so hasty to just throw him into straight away, you know, kind of thing. Flipping, My thing with Martial, because people always do Martial versus Rashford, that annoys me. But my Martial thing comes from for me, like in all the years he's been there, he's had about, I say, 1.5, 2 good seasons overall, and that for me is not enough to carry you further on. And especially when you're looking for a loan move, a new manager comes in and you made it clear on his first day that you were not interested in staying at the club. Your agent ran to Sky Sports and said, "I want to go." So your head's not in it. Whereas Rashford, this is his first real run of bad form, but it's his first one. If it continues into next season, then you got to start thinking about moving the guy.
Yeah.
Maybe, and it's not about keeping it because he's born and bred and all that stuff that we sing about. It's just about it's just like, bro, sometimes, if we're being real, sometimes a fresh start is just good for somebody, man. That's it. He loves the club. We know he loves the club, but sometimes you gotta start fresh, man. Because David Beckham loved Man United. Obviously, the reason why he left was very different.
Mm-hmm.
But when he went to Madrid, it kind of made sense.
For all parties involved, it seemed like United were trying to move on from like the Neville Beckham right hand side thing, and it was a good move for him, like on and off the pitch in terms of his brand, and he got to play at Real Madrid as well. And if I remember correctly, Ronaldo didn't come in too long after he left, so it did make sense. But
you're right.
Yeah, because you're right. Yeah, because I can't remember exactly what year Ronaldo came in, but I know it wasn't. I don't think it was straight after, but it wasn't. I know it wasn't too long after. I know it wasn't. It wasn't years and years after.
No, I think you're right. I think it came direct because.
Was it a directing? Oh, Mazza.
So he left. He left, and then I think in 2003, Beckham left after we won the league in 2003, and then when Beckham scored that free kick against Everton.
Okay, because the chat will tell us. Because he landed. Yeah, you're right. Because he landed at United in 03 Ronaldo. Yeah, I was just double checking. And I had to take back to my memory's not the best. The chat will tell us anyway. So it was. So it's kind of like they had it was time for everyone to move on, type of thing, isn't it? Which ain't a bad thing, like, because it's like it was 03. Yeah, I was spot on. I should have backed myself. Yeah, 100%. It's crazy. Where we else? Yeah. Brian says Ronaldo joined in 03 and that for Leeds, I don't think he has a Martial agenda. I just think that Coach Joe explained as to why he explained as to why he wants to keep it. The reason why I don't think it's an agenda is because he's explained why he would sell Martial, and he also explained the reasons why he would keep Rashford and said Rashford's on a trial. He said he's on a year trial type of thing.
Literally, it's a 1-year thing. Like again, Martial, you're talking to someone that literally loves Martial. When he scored 20 goals in that season, 20 plus goals in that season under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I was so happy. I was like, finally, like we've got a number 9 that we can look at since Van Persie. Like Ibrahimovic was good for us, but he was old. We needed someone that's for the next. I was so happy. I love the guy. I genuinely still love the guy, but his time just might be up, and that's why I'm saying about Rashford as well. He's got 1 more year. This is his first real bad run of form, and if he continues next year, Ten Hag ain't gonna. If it's Ten Hag, Pochettino, whoever it is, they can't wait around for this guy to get better. You step up or you step aside. You know what I'm saying?
I'd say with that, to me is on, because I'm a big fan of Martial too. Depending on the manager that comes in, so let's say it is Ten Hag. If Ten Hag says Martial's my guy, I'm with it. If Ten Hag turns around and says Martial's not my guy, he needs to move on, type of thing. Because again, his talent, I'm a massive fan of his. But you are now 27. It is now your chance. It is now your last chance to prove yourself here. That don't mean you can't go elsewhere and have a successful career, because somebody will come and buy Martial just off his talent alone. So I don't think he has an issue or a problem with that. But these are all the questions in regards to with the new manager coming in. What does he want to do? Like the new man, like I say, Ten Hag might be a massive fan of Martial for all we know, or he might be like, nah, I don't like the look of Martial whatsoever. And that's the same for a lot of these players we're talking about, the likes of a Rashford, Cavani probably, say even a Ronaldo, etc. A Donny, Fred, you know what I mean, a Dalot, a Tellers, sure. There's so many things we don't know, because even when Ralph firstly came in and that, we was like, all right, let's see how he goes. And obviously the video went viral of him talking about Luke Shaw. And we've seen that change because the fullbacks have changed, because it's been Dalot over Wan-Bissaka more often than not. Like, we've barely seen Wan-Bissaka since Ten Hag's come in. And then at left back, it's been more of a mix between Tellers and Luke Shaw. So yeah, that's what it is. We'll see. We'll soon find out. So yeah, like I said, we went through the team there, and you've absolutely just like gutted the team. So it's going to be recruitment is going to be key. But speaking of Rashford, get your thoughts on this as well, because this happened recently as well. What happened with the fan after the Atletico Madrid game? What was your thoughts on that? Your initial thoughts and then your thoughts now?
Okay, so my first thing was, because he's been in the game for a lot of years now. If fans are, making that sort of noise, just walk on, just walk on, because the frustration over Rashford's come for a while. So I said this is his first real bad patch of form. I'd say, if I'm being even more honest, I say 2 years he hasn't been fantastic, but last season, of course, he still managed to score goals. He still contributed. So at least you had bad games, but you sort of added something to the team. So it makes sense. I mean, in the second, your goals meant something. But obviously, the frustration's been building with him. So from the fan standpoint, so from my point is that, all right, cool. If you hear something like that, just keep going. At the same time, bro, whether it's him, Pogba, Martial, and I mentioned those three in particular because they get the most abuse.
Well,
not even if you're human beings, at some point, if someone keeps saying something about you, you're gonna turn around and you're gonna say something back. Let's be real, because I'm not gonna lie. Like, if I come out of work and someone is saying, "Yo, Michael, you are crap today. You are this, that, and the other," and it keeps going and going and going, I'm gonna turn around and be like, "Yo, come into my office outside. Come outside right now. Let's go. Step into this office right now. Let's swing it out." Because we saw. This is another thing. We saw a 40-second video, and it's crazy because the internet. People always be like, "Oh, you can't believe everything the internet says," because you see one bit, people can cover up another bit. But then as soon as it fits an agenda for them where they don't like the person, it's like, "Oh yeah, he shouldn't have reacted like that." Yeah. Rashford's statement was, "As soon as I came out of the doors, I was treated to abuse."
Yeah.
And they kept going and going and going. And then as soon as I kept going and they called my name again, I turned around and said something. Notice though, as soon as he turned around and started to talk, they went dead silent. And then as soon as he turned around again, I was speaking to the security man. Someone called him a bellend. I'm like, you see, so you're expecting him to just keep walking and keep hearing that? Or do you expect him to come up to you and let him stand in front of you and just let you tell him about how shit he's been? Like, he's not been good. I think he knows that. Whether he knows it to the extent that how much we feel it, that's different. But us feeling it and him knowing it is two different things. And we don't know his character like that. We feel like we know his character. Yeah. But we don't know his character. We don't know when he gets home, is he punching the wall because he's pissed off? Is he crying? Or does he sit in front of the TV and say, it's been a long day, let me watch some TV and chill. Let me play some PlayStation. We don't know what he does. Yeah.
We don't know what he does. Facts.
But he gave a normal reaction. Because bro, Flawless, bro, right now, if me and you had a debate on this and I came and said, you know what? Well, F you, F your show, this time, whatever. You'll tell me, bro, fuck me somewhere right now on this side.
Yeah. Like, I have no issue again with the way he responded. Zero issue. Because like you said, I love the analogy you used about you stepping at work and someone saying, "Yeah, fuck you, Michael, did it there," and all this nonsense and that. And that's what it is. If you abuse him or criticize him on the football pitch, that's cool because he's at work. He's at his job. So if he's getting jeered, he's getting booed. Nobody spoke on this. At the Atletico Madrid game, when they came over to warm up, nobody clapped him. That's a part of the game. That's cool. Because Felix there says, if you listen, there was no abuse, but it's still criticism outside of work. Don't criticize me about my job outside of my job. Anybody is going to react like that. And Rashford, I think his form has been poor. I'm not a fan whatsoever. If he was to move on, cool. To me, he's best a squad player. I've spoken on this many, many times. I have no issue with the way he responded. He was like, what do you expect at some point? I don't understand. That fan waited an hour and a half after the game. We've just gone out in the Champions League to Atletico Madrid in very, very disappointing and everybody's disheartened. What did the fan expect is what I still don't understand. What were you trying to get at? Rashford knows he's playing bad. Rashford's 110% knows he's playing bad. Does it hurt him? Of course it hurts him. This is why he'll like players know when they're playing bad. You know what I'm saying? And Rashford is one of those. I don't doubt that he cares. I just think it's just a talent issue. His confidence is in the bin as well as it shows. The only thing I don't like about the situation is him apologizing. That's it. That's the only thing I have an issue with because you did nothing wrong. And now next time if that happens, a fan knows, if I abuse you and he responds, he's going to apologize to me anyway and that. Like I've seen it in basketball, like Devin Booker yesterday playing for the Suns. Not sure if you're an NBA fan, but like he called a fan a pussy. You know what I'm saying? He told a fan, shut up, pussy. You know what I'm saying? I was laughing my ass off. KD told a fan, shut the fuck, you need to shut the fuck up and sit down. I have no problems with those back and forths and that. Because clearly, even the Devin Booker situation, I don't think the fans said anything to him at that point, but he's probably been goading him the whole time. And that's a part of the sport. No issues with that. But again, that's on the court, people. You know what I'm saying? And so I have no problem. But outside, off the court, in basketball terms, or off the pitch in football terms, what are you doing? Do you not achieving anything? But it's nuts. It's crazy. To Don Dada as well, who says Ten Hag is one of the few managers that share the footballing, same footballing philosophy and style of play of Pep. Are we fed up of envying our neighbors' people? It's not even an envying of the neighbors thing, because I don't necessarily want a manager to come in to play exactly like Pep. I just want a style. That's all I'm asking for. That's all. That's it. Like, and then we'll build on if it's successful. Is it entertaining and all these things? And I like what I hear about Ten Hag, the few things I see from him. I'm like, yes, he's a drill sergeant. And will it take a while to implement his style? Of course. This is why if he does land, I will give him the season. Yes, I will criticize and things of that nature, but I'm not going to be like on his case about certain things if we finish 5th or we finish 6th. Like, I just want to see clear improvements in terms of on the eye test and on the stat test and his recruitment. That's what I'm very interested to see if he does come in. Who does he recruit? How many players does he recruit? Who do we get rid of? Because if you hear Kojak, you hear me, like a lot of this team got to go, but you're not going to go get 12, 13, 14 players in a window. So it might be work with some of what you have, lose 3 or 4. You know what I'm saying? Well, we're going to lose a lot anyway, just in regards to contract. So if you lose 6 or 7 players, bring in 3 or 4, and then you kind of build from there in the spine. That's where you go from. Because the fortunate thing for United is outside the top 3, I don't really rate the Premier League like that. Outside of like the top 3 are very, very good. But like everyone else is around us. That's why we're in a top 4 race. Like everyone's here waxing lyrical about Arsenal and all this type of stuff. But we're still within touching distance. Like even if they win their game in hand, I think it's 4 points. So I'm like, 4 points with 10 games to go is not impossible. And we have to play them. And they still have to play Chelsea. Obviously, we have to play Liverpool also, and we have to play Chelsea. But the race isn't over. But we'll soon find out where else it is. You lot continue to get your questions in. For me and Kojo will answer any questions that you have. And yeah, Brian, you make a point here. Ten Hag likes to have 3 strikers in the squad, so he might end up keeping Martial. That's true, because if Cavani leaves and Ronaldo leaves, I've said this, if Martial leaves, that means you're going to try and sign 3 strikers. And it's like, that's very, very tough to do. That is. But obviously, we're linked to FC. But speaking of strikers, we've been linked with Lewandowski, which did surprise me. What's your thoughts on that? Would you take him? Would you take him in certain capacity? Are you against it? Because it's a younger striker is what we should be looking for, even though it is Lewandowski. Your thoughts?
I can't lie to you. I don't think I can say no to him, you know. I don't think so. You're right. We should be looking for a younger striker, but that's a gun, man. Yeah, that's all I love. If there's one thing I love in football, bro, it's someone that just loves to score goals. He don't give a shit. Don't give a shit about flicks and creating chances and all that. He just wants to smack it to the back of the net. That's what I care about, man. And he epitomizes that times 50. So I could never say no to him. Trust me, I got names in my mind. I'm a big fan of Darwin Núñez. I'm a huge fan of his. But that's an example. But man, if Lewandowski is available, I'm not saying no to that.
You're not saying no to Lewandowski.
No. So we have. I think we should probably try and get someone. I mean, nothing wrong with having someone experienced. Number 1 and number 2. If we have some young G's coming up, or besides some young G's that are going to be future strikers for United, you can learn from someone like Lewandowski.
Yeah, exactly. That was my thoughts on it. I was like, if Lewandowski's coming in, 2 things. 1, let there be a plan with Lewandowski landing. Don't just go sign him because it's Lewandowski. And 2, bring in a couple younger strikers to learn from the likes of Lewandowski type of thing. Even if Lewandowski was the first choice, have someone there who's ready to take the crown from him and lead the line for Manchester United. Like, that's how I'm looking at it with Lewandowski. Because like you said, who better to learn from than somebody like him? And he wouldn't be here playing week in, week out anyway, so you would need someone to rotate. Even if Lewandowski was like, you had a first choice striker and then Lewandowski was backing that person up, and then you had a third choice striker behind that. So like I say, his experience is invaluable, not just for the strikers, but for the squad, especially when you get into games like against Atletico Madrid. And that's someone, Lewandowski, who's won the competition and has been in the trenches in the Champions League for years. That's regular to him. That's just a walk in the park because he's used to that type of thing. So, yeah, we'll see. I hear that, Danny. To be honest, I'm done with shout out Dan. Yo, Dan, I'll send you the link if you want to hop on. He says, I'm done with strikers over 25. Use your scouting network and get an unknown gunman. I like both. I would like the idea of bringing in a Lewandowski if possible. But yes, go get a young striker who's also a gunman. Like, I don't understand why we can't have both. Go get both.
Yeah.
I'm with it. Like, because I'm done with Cavani. Ronaldo, I'd rather Lewandowski because Ronaldo just isn't going to want to play a bit part role. And that's the only way I would want to keep him. And if Martial does leave as well, there's 3 spots. But again, this depends on what system that Ten Hag wants to play. So yeah, we'll see. And also got welcome to the show. You know what I'm saying? He's only late because he was working. You know what I'm saying? You got to make the peas. You know what I'm saying? He's not. Is this? Nah, this isn't his debut. I think this is his 2nd appearance, maybe his 3rd appearance on the channel. He'll be able to tell me I was on his channel as well from the final third. How I actually seen and found out about this guy's clip because he was Millie rocking this in Liverpool. And shout out to my guy Aaron who said it to me. I was like, yo, Flawless. One, this is you will like this. And I watched that clip, and then from then I was like, yo, that's when I followed, man. I was like, yo, this clip is genius. And anytime we play Liverpool, I always post this clip in it. So welcome Banks to the show as well. What are you telling me, man?
What are you telling me, Flawless, man? Hey, that clip, hey, I can't lie. I loved it when Liverpool in the mud. I loved it. I loved it. Probably the best piece of joy I've had in the last couple of years. That one season. Loved it.
That clip was great at that. Because like I say, that clip was the one where I first seen you and I was like, yo, this is great at that. But yeah, Banks, Kojo, have you met before?
I think I'm not sure, you know.
If it's not anyway, is this the first time?
We follow each other. Yeah, we follow each other.
Yeah.
Definitely follow each other. I've seen his content.
Yeah, but I think it's the first time on the same stream still.
Hey, there we go in it. So Kojo meet Banks, Banks meet Kojo and that. You know what I'm saying? From the final third to the free in midfield. Yeah, you might need to link up, especially with those names. You might need to do a joint podcast, like free in midfield, final third. Like that's easy. You know what I'm saying?
All we need now is a 4 at the back, and we've got
I know the people from the 4 at the back podcast actually.
I
actually know them.
We're making this happen.
Yo, I'm gonna press you about that. Make sure you do that. The final third, free in midfield, 4 at the back. Like you man definitely need to do that 100% and that. You might need to make like that's an easy sell, yo. Just link up like on some Avengers thing once a month and do a show. Like 100% and that. But yo, Banks, welcome to the show and that. And we spoke about Ten Hag. Obviously players who if Ten Hag does come in, players you get rid of, players we like. So we'll start there, Banks. Obviously the Ten Hag rumors have intensified. Reports are he had an interview with Manchester United and it's the manager that we're looking at. Your thoughts, like what was I gonna say? Like his pros, his cons, are you happy about it? Was there a manager above on the list? Did he fall lower down on your list of candidates that you particularly wanted? Talk to me.
Right now, I can't lie, he's pretty high up on the list of candidates that I want, but I think it's good for United to just get some fresh ideas in terms of these players have been so used to being mollycoddled and having it their own way and sort of we think about Bruno Fernandes and he's been allowed to do whatever he wanted. Of course, it's led to production, the goals and assists or whatever, but he's been allowed to do whatever he wants in that team and there's been so little structure tactically within the team over the last couple of years that you see with Ten Hag, and he's got his own philosophy, he's got his own ideas. We need something like that to come in. I'm not necessarily saying that it's Ten Hag or bust or it's only Ten Hag, but we need somebody that's got a firm set of ideas and beliefs that similar to, I hate comparing it to Klopp, but similar to Klopp where he had his beliefs and he knew what he wanted when he came in. And quite simply, some of the...
I think he's broke up in that. Yo, Banks, you broke up a little bit, fam. He'll be back shortly. Sorry about that, people. He'll be back. And big up Surfer who says, link with my podcast, The Sweeper Keeper. See, that's fire, man. Like, that's an easy sell.
Come on.
That's an easy sell. This guy running bad to that. Banks will be back shortly. Big up Prime in the cut as well. It says, isn't Ronaldo that gunman that loves to score goals? Just like Ronaldo, why bring it lower if you're not going to play to his strengths? Ronaldo's not that anymore. You know what I'm saying? And I think Banks is back. That's what it is, Prime. That's the difference. We'll get back to you, Banks, as well. And like, because you caught up there. So we're going to get back to you. But that's what it is, Prime.
Yeah, I don't know where
it's cool. No. You was talking about fresh ideas and how you hate to compare it to Klopp but
Okay,
it's
but
like
yeah,
that. Yeah, go on.
like brilliant players like Daniel Sturridge. Daniel Sturridge is genuinely one of my favorite Premier League era players. Like I think he was so cold, and if it wasn't for injuries, he'd be so much more highly regarded. But when Klopp came in, he wanted something different from his forwards, and Daniel Sturridge just couldn't provide that, and it meant that he couldn't be there long term, or he couldn't be a main player for them long term. We need a manager that's going to come in and have his ideals and knows what he wants. And if these players can't provide it for him, they've got to go. We need to start building our squad in the long-term image of not necessarily a manager, but a philosophy and a way we want to play, so that the next manager after Ten Hag, because we have to deal with the fact that managers aren't in place for 10 years, 15 years no more. It's not going to happen. So we have to start thinking about, is this squad going to be suitable for the manager after Ten Hag, or the manager after the person that's going to come in next? Facts. We need to start building our squad with a philosophy rather than with just what a manager wants. And I like the fact that Ten Hag has a philosophy that is transferable, is much more transferable in comparison to what Ole was doing, where it was just put a load of attackers on the pitch and hope for the best. That was Ole, fam. Man, I think he bought like 10 attackers over his time at United.
He bought hella attackers. He did buy hella
attackers. No midfielders. It was literally pure vibes for brother. So it was obviously not going to translate for the next manager, who may want more midfielders, may want more control. Because of the squad that Ole's built, we've had to tear it down and build it, and we're going to have to rebuild it back up. So I'm happy with the idea of Ten Hag. But one thing, I was talking about this in my United show yesterday, is that United fans have to be very, very objective with what they see. With United fans, we have the tendency to live in sort of la-la land and think it has to work out, and it has to, like, this young player, he has to blow up, he has to work. And we sometimes forego what's actually happening and what we're actually seeing with our eyes, in the hope that it turns out right. With whoever the next manager that comes in, we have to be very objective with what happens next. We have to look at it and say, is this heading in the right direction? Are we creating chances? If it's a thing where we're creating chances and not putting them away, or if we're creating chances and we've got a leaky defense, I can deal with that as long as I can see there's progress being made, because it's not all going to happen in one summer. Ten Hag, like, the squad isn't going to be rebuilt in one summer. It's not going to happen. It's going to happen as a continuous process, which means that we're not going to be good straight away. Next summer, it's going to be a new manager, new players, new ideas. It's not going to happen straight away. But we have to be if we're playing football that's not creating any chances, if we're playing football that's leaking goals, you have to be honest and say that this isn't sustainable.
Yes,
If he doesn't change this, I don't see how he can be successful at United. We have to just start being very objective with what we're seeing, because again, when we think about when Ronaldo came, it was very feel good. Like, drop Ronaldo in this team. Surely because last season it's not like we was creating a bucket load of chances anyway, but we thought, drop Ronaldo in this team,
we'll score goals. That's one thing we actually done on the Ralph that people don't want to give credit to, is the fact we've created a lot of chances. We just missed a lot of these draws that we've had. We've just missed chances, and that's not on him. Like I say, it's on the manager to put the players in place and put a system in place to allow the players to create chances. Now, if we're not, that's when you can look at the creative players. That's when you can look at the managers. Look at the manager. But we're missing sitters. Like, a lot of them draws, whether it's the Middlesbrough game, Burnley, Southampton, the list goes on, where we're just missing open nets. Man are looking at the goalkeeper in the eyeballs and missing from 6 yards, or hitting the post. This isn't
me shitting on Bruno, but that miss against Middlesbrough, where it was an open goal, if I remember, was it Middlesbrough or Watford, where it's literally an open goal and he manages to hit the post. That's when this squad is tapped. This squad is tapped beyond belief. When you're missing chances like that, I just have to hold my hand up and say, there's spiritual settings going on with this squad. There's spiritual settings deep. Obeya's working hard with this squad.
It's not even, like I said, like, it's just the quality. Because one thing I always thought is about despite what you think about Ronaldo or Bruno, whether you rate them or not, those two in particular I look at. I'm like, if you give these man chances, they'll score. That's one thing I credited Bruno for, was in front of goal, he'd score more often than not. Like, if you get the ball in and around the area, he'll score. And then we started creating more chances, and our attackers look worse. To me, that was the most damning thing that I seen. I'm like, yo, you man are getting 3, 4, 5 clear-cut chances, whereas in the past, I'd spoke in depth, and others had spoke, I'm sure you too as well, about the lack of chances, whereas United are creating one big chance per game, or we'll play 2 matches and create one big chance, and it's like, right, we're really not creating anything. But now we had systems in place, and we're missing chances, like you even mentioned, like the Watford game, for instance, like some of the chances we missed there, like criminal. You know what I'm saying? Yes, there is certain games where we didn't create too much, like Atletico Madrid, for instance, and others like and other games, Manchester City, but they're different. But for the most part, we have. So it's going to be interesting. But I agree in terms of patience is key with regards to Ten Hag if he does come in, because the rumors have intensified. Manchester United fans are already convinced he's going to be here. I believe it when I see it. But one thing I will give credit to is Manchester United might be, was it? Yeah, I think it was Predator who was on here who said this on Tuesday. Shout out to Predator as well. Is Manchester United seem to be going in a different direction because we're doing things we didn't expect. Like, nobody expected Ralph. Nobody expected Ralph. And all he was sacked, that was not in the pipeline. Him coming in as manager, then potentially a consultancy role and things of that nature. No one was expecting that.
The only point I want to make in terms of Ralph and the consultancy role, they have to give him genuine like pulling power in the club.
Mm-hmm.
If they like, because right now is a consultancy role, and technically a consultancy role, you're only giving advice. They don't have to take it. Yeah. For me, they gotta let Ralph have some sort of say, like proper say, absolutely, if we're gonna move this squad forward. Because I feel like Ralph has got the right ideas for squad building, but too much politics comes into it with United in terms of like, even like, this isn't me dumping on Declan Rice, but the fact that it feels like Declan Rice is already being wrapped up before a new manager, like for me, it feels inevitable that we're gonna be in for Declan Rice, and this is
150 mil. Sorry, to
150. Like
150. No.
That's like we need to move away from these sort of we gotta get this, because if we really deep it, Ole signed Jadon Sancho and he did not have a clue how to use him, but he knew he wanted to sign him. He didn't know why he wanted to sign him. He didn't have a clue how to use Jadon Sancho, but he knew he's the hot thing. He's the hot British property. I need to sign him. He didn't have a clue how to use him. That's how we're going to sign. That's how we could sign Declan Rice in the summer. And then the next manager that comes in doesn't have a role for him. Like that could be it. We need to have a solid idea on how we want to plan our squad, how we want to build our squad. That has to involve a sporting director, because when the next manager goes, the sporting director will still be around to mold.
Yes, it has to be, because there should be a philosophy with the manager, whereas you identify a type of manager in terms of everyone knows, like after Pep goes, they're gonna go and try and get a Pep like. But Kojo, I know you got a dip, so I just want to get your thoughts on this quickly. What would you like to see Ralph do in the summer? Like, what would you like in terms of people have said, oh, do you want to stay on as manager? The consultancy role where he gets a lot of say. Do you want him to leave? Like, your thoughts before you dip.
Oh, right.
Yeah, he's back. There we go.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, no stress, man. It's all good. I know you got a dip in it, so that's why I thought I'd ask you that quickly before you go.
So with Ralph, I mean, whoever the new manager is, they have to have a level of agreement where they can work together to identify and bring in the players that the club needs. That's the main thing. What for me, I need Man United to work backwards, and what I mean by that is we were once there. We had that with Cyrus Ferguson and David Gill. Now, obviously, Rangnick's not going to stay the length of time that David Gill did, but it's about building a partnership that makes you identify your players and build the squads. Because I feel like City and Liverpool are doing what we just did years ago. That's what I feel like it is. They know how to build a team. They get depth. Now, Liverpool have built their depth recently. Before, it was more like having no injuries. Now they have a solid squad. And then on top of that, now they know that Mane and Salah are hitting 30 for Firmino as well. They've got in your Diaz's, they've got in your Jotas. That's the next stage. So they're ready to come in and do their thing. That's what I need Man United to do, man. So, just work backwards. Think about what happened back then. Think about what made Man United so good, so dominant. Because it's not about buying fast, it's about buying smart.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. If you look in the, like you guys just said it, if you look in the window and you find a goalkeeper that is brilliant and worth the money, go and get him. Declan Rice, I would love Declan Rice at Man United. But if you find a player that's near enough that level, or maybe even better, but costs that much cheaper, bring him in instead. You don't have to always go for the homegrown talent. Because Ferguson went for the homegrown talent when he wanted them for a longer amount of time. Carrick, longer amount of time. Rio, longer amount of time. What's the other one? Rooney, longer amount of time. So if you're going to go for Declan Rice, fix your squad first and then make him that final signing, that final piece. That can be your signing for the next 10 years. Not to go and spend money like you did with Angel Di Maria and then make a loss. Do it for Lukaku and then make a loss. Who also we signed and made a loss on? Like just
so many bad decisions and that with no plan and no idea.
Many. Right. None. So yeah, that's what I'm asking for, man, because we actually have all the infrastructure we need. It's just about using your brain, man. You know. So yeah, that's what I'm asking for from United. So if it's Ranić and Ten Hag, if it's Ranić and Pochettino, who Man United fans are writing off like he's some sort of, I don't know, Adam Pardew type figure. I don't know, like, you know, just whoever it is, just back the guy, bruv. Just back the guy and let him win, man. That's it.
I hear that. So I know you got a dip, Kojo, so let them know. Blessed for jumping on first and foremost. Secondly, let them know where they can find you and anything else you want to plug before you leave as well.
Oh, I appreciate that. Firstly, I want to plug one of my boys. So recently I've been on Don Robbie. And today, he's a Portugal fan. He's not really in the football socials, but he's a musician, an up-and-coming musician. He's really good, and I say he's really good because, I mean that because when some of my friends do music and they're not good, I don't promote them. I'm that kind of friend. I'll tell you, don't do that. So he's good. He's Portuguese. He's going to be on Don Robbie doing Portugal versus Turkey. So if you want to catch him on that, his name's Alfredo. He'll be there representing his country. As for myself, Free Midfield podcast. Everywhere. That's number 3 in Midfield collectively. And,
you see it there on the title, people. Free in Midfield and catch Kojo on Don Robbie as well in it, which is sick. You know what I'm saying? I seen you on there. I was like, yo, that's big, man. You know what I'm saying?
Appreciate that, man. And obviously, number 2, if you're not subscribing to any of these guys, go subscribe real quick.
Yes, make sure you do that. Yeah, man. But yo, big up for jumping on. Definitely gonna have you back on, man. 110%. And anytime you want to get anything off your chest, shout me in it. You know what I'm saying?
Anytime, bro.
Anytime. Yeah. All right, big up, Kojo.
Yeah. Banks, we're linking up. That's happening.
Yeah. You might need to do that.
3 in the midfield. 4 at the back. We're setting up the formation. We're setting up the formation.
You might need to do that. 100%. That's an easy sell. Just link up, like I said, some Avengers thing, some Marvel thing. 100%. Yeah, man. Right, you might need to do that. All right, big up, Kojo. Yeah, every time, man. Yeah, you lot, make sure you go subscribe to Free in the Midfield. Make sure you subscribe to Final Third and subscribe here and hit the like button as well. Me and Banks are going to continue to answer some more of your questions as well. So yeah, Banks, because we got spoke. Obviously, we spoke a few weeks ago because we spoke. Was it before the Atletico Madrid game?
Before the Atletico.
It was before. All right, so we might as well head there because we haven't spoke before the Atletico Madrid game because we was like, it's going to be tough, but we should be able to manage to go through. We went out. So your thoughts on the game? Do you look at more of the players to blame? Is it a manager? Is there a mixture of both? And the fallout afterwards, etc. and stuff like that.
So, first game, we were woeful, and Anthony Elanga bailed us out. I don't think anyone can deny that we probably didn't deserve to win, or probably didn't deserve to get the draw at Atletico, but we snuck out there with something. That first the return leg, I feel like we started very, very well. We were on top. We were the only team in the game, really. But what is so pathetic about the way we conceded is that Atletico generally had 2 attacks in that first half, and we conceded from one of them. Our defense was under pressure 2 times in that half. 2 times in that half, and we managed to concede from one of them. We put their defense under pressure for most of that first half, and we didn't convert any of the chances that we made. That's what's so annoying, because how can you be so fragile as a defense? Like, literally, we gave the ball away. What was it? From the Anthony Elanga, went into midfield. Fred got fouled. Yeah. It was a foul, but even from there, our transition defense was absolutely chaotic. Literally, we were so chaotic that when it got turned over and when they're heading into our box, everyone's headless chickens just chasing after the ball.
Yep.
I think for 5 seconds, I was on the football terrace doing a watch along for it, and
Yep.
for like 5 seconds before the goal, I was screaming, back post, back post, back post. All you have to do is turn your head, just scan. You see somebody at the back post, you position, but everyone's just running towards the ball, trying, like, nobody's set. Like, it's as if we don't coach, or as if once we get in these positions, we just lose our heads. All you have to do is just scan, take a look, and you can defend that situation so much better. But we didn't. We lost our heads. Nobody's scanned for the back post. Nobody's communicated. Worst thing is, McTominay is running towards the goal, so he can see the person at the back post. All he has to do is give Dallo a shout and say, "Cover the back post. I'm gonna cover this guy in the center." All you have is, that's all it is. Talk to each other. But they're headless chickens when they're defending transition, that they just lose themselves and nobody's talking, and we concede the sloppiest goal. But what annoyed me even more is the fact that we came out from the second half with even less intensity. We came out with that from that second half, and it was one of the most shambolic performances I've seen this season. That second half is one of the most when you're chasing a game, and I think we put pressure on them once where Jadon Sancho ended up with a Jadon Sancho shot over the bar. But that's literally the only time I can remember remember United putting pressure on the Atletico goal in that second half. The fact that we're chasing the game, trying to stay in the competition, and we could barely string passes together, let alone put it together attack. I'm sorry,
I can tell that your head's still hot about this. Keep going, man. Get it off your chest. I can tell your head is still hot, man.
It literally just, it pissed me off so much, because you don't, like, you're chasing a game and you're not putting any sort of pressure on them. Yeah, first half we did a good job of passing the ball, keeping the pressure on, maintaining it. But what we've seen with this team so often is that once we go behind or once we face a setback, they cannot recover. They cannot recover. They cannot recover, because all you realistically need, the one time we put together passes and we moved them about and we create a chance through that, we created a very good chance from that ended up with Jadon Sancho, only put it over the bar.
The volley.
The volley. After that, it's hoofball. After that, we're diving in and we're missing challenges, and then they're able to counter.
Well,
all you need to do is keep doing, like, if we were an exception, for me, if this team had the mentality that we have faith in what we're doing and I know what we're doing is going to pay off eventually, like with a Pep team, if they go behind, they're not just going to start hoofing it into the box.
They're going to keep
they're going to keep
They believe in what they're doing.
They believe they're going to keep doing what they're coached to do, because they believe it's eventually going to work. With this team, it's like, as soon as we face a setback, give the ball to Bruno. Let's hope that he flings something into the box and hope for the best. Let's get it forward as quickly as possible. It's when we were working the ball, passing it, making their defense move. That's when we created chances. But when we're just hoping for the best and losing our heads, that's when it all falls apart.
Yeah,
always.
Well, you spitting right now. You know what I'm saying? That's why I just let you go and get it off your chest, because it's like we did start well. Didn't create a lot, but we obviously the Alanga ones are lucky. It's hit All Black in the face. We didn't really create too much, and then the goal we conceded just summed us up, where it's multiple mistakes. There's individual. You can look at Alanga on that goal. You can look at McTominay on that goal. You can look at Maguire on that goal. It's like, if one of those three does their job, we probably don't concede, and that's the problem. I won't get on Alanga too much, because not only has he been one of the brighter sparks this season, he was one of the brighter sparks in that second leg. I was one of the better players in the first leg as well.
Runs were the highlight of the first half.
100%. And then obviously we know McTominay and Maguire's deficiencies. Like, we know that, and that's why I have to look at those two. I look at Ralph for playing those two in that game, because he should have played Matic. To me, Lindelof should have played, but hindsight is a beautiful thing.
I don't understand how Matic didn't play. I don't.
Yeah. Especially the impact he had in the first leg as well, when he came on, and who else came on? It was him, Did Alanga come on as well in that game?
I think Tellers came on as well.
Tellers came on, and I think Alanga was also one of the Sims as
Yeah.
well. Yeah, who came on. It's like you can see the difference that they made in the first leg. So I believe you did get that wrong, and I didn't like that midfield when I seen it. Big up to Black Diamond, who says if we had a proper footballing infrastructure, no way Woodward would have been able to mismanage 1.2 billion in transfers. Yeah, we know this, 100%. Like, but we need to try and what Kojo was talking about before he left is build back towards that. So Ralph coming in and gathering intel, because that's how I look at the job that he's doing right now, is good. The fact that he could go into the consultancy role, depending on the amount of power, is good. The fact that the likes of Ten Hag, we're looking at the managers we want to look at, Ten Hag is good. Hopefully he'll bring in his board, because reports are that he wants his own assistant. He's going to bring in his backroom staff, which is also going to help as well. So it is a slow build to get there, 100%. And Black Diamond also says no manager can truly succeed under these owners and board. It's clear they have chosen commercial signings and dividends over trophies. They are cancerous owners. They need to let Ralph do his thing. I do agree they do need to let Ralph do his thing. Can a manager truly succeed under? Again, it depends on what you determine as success, Black Diamond. Because I've said before, can you win trophies under these managers? Yeah, I mean under these owners, yes. Because we've seen Van Gaal do it, we've seen Mourinho do it. We're done with these owners competing at the highest level consistently. I say this all the time, but can we compete? Yes. And in terms of the signings, this window was pretty good. Minus Ronaldo, the window was good. Varane and Sancho. Like, they were two signings I needed. They're probably two of the players, and I'm going to ask Max about this, that he'd probably keep. It's like, so that's why I'm not bad. So yeah, going into that, looking at our team and our squad, who would you keep? Who would you get rid of? Let's say Ten Hag's coming in. Who do you see? I know the list is longer who you'd get rid of rather than who you'd keep. But yeah, go from goalkeeper all the way through to the attack.
The list is short. The list is so short, but we can't get rid of them all at one moment. So we look at our forwards. I'd say Sancho, I'd definitely keep. Fred can be a use. Thing with Fred is that I feel like he can be a useful squad member when he's not needed to be the best midfielder in our squad.
Thanks. I agree.
Like if he could genuinely be like our third or fourth best midfielder, I'd love him to be in that role. I'd love, because he definitely has a skill set that can be relied upon. But it's when we're asking him to do more than what's in his locker. It always falls apart for him when we ask him to do more. But if we can keep his role defined and limited to a sense, I want his role to be limited. I don't want him to be the best midfielder in our squad, because that signifies a lack of quality to me. I'm sorry, but it does. Like Fred can offer good things, but if he's the best midfielder in our squad, then there's a problem. Again, I look at the defense. I'd probably say Dallow's earned another season here. He's not. I can't lie to you. He's not exactly a favorite of mine. Like I like the fact that defensively he doesn't look as shaky as he did before, but weirdly enough, offensively he looks a bit dire. Like his crosses never really hit a target. His shooting isn't the greatest. Like, but I feel like he's done enough to stick around next season.
Yeah, his crossing. I'm a big fan. His crossing does need to improve, but one thing I do like is everything else in terms of defensively. I don't think he's that bad, and I do like he started even the Alanga chance. He was the one who started that by carrying the ball, and he went past them, and I like that constantly overlaps as well. Big up to Molina in the cut as well. But yeah, go on, carry on. So you're saying hello.
Yeah, so Dalot, Varane, obviously he's been our best defender this season. Lindelof, Bailly. Again, I'd assume Bailly wants to go and find some first team football. This summer.
Because he tried to leave in January.
Yeah, and the fact that he's already behind Lindelof and Maguire as well, I can't see how he'd want to stay. Lindelof, again, sort of like Fred. If he's our fourth best centre back, I don't mind that. If he's our fourth or third best centre back, I'm not too fussed. But again, if an injury comes and we're having to rely on Lindelof for an extended period of time, I feel like he gets exposed as well, which is another issue. Genuinely, after that, I genuinely think, and there's so many of this squad that if I could get rid of them this summer, I genuinely would. David De Gea.
All right, so let's go. I was going to go to the goalkeeper. Let's see. So obviously this won't happen, but in the ideal world, forget like players who who could join, who would you actually get rid of? Like, would you get rid of De Gea? Would you get rid of Henderson, etc.?
I genuinely would get rid of De Gea this season. Yes, the mistakes have been less than what's in previous season, and I'm happy to see that. But the deficiencies in other areas, in terms of being able to claim crosses, being able to come off your line and be proactive, all of these things are not new issues with De Gea, and quite simply just hasn't improved on them. And this isn't me just trying to copy what Arsenal and Man City. Like, you genuinely need forward-thinking goalkeepers to be successful in the modern day game. You need your goalkeeper to be comfortable and play those sort of passes that can sort of relieve the pressure, to come off their line and claim crosses and start counter-attacks early. You need your keeper to be doing these things. And David De Gea, for all the shot stopping that he does, he just doesn't do enough to be in the upper echelon of untouchable keepers.
Yeah,
he's just not. He's not an untouchable keeper. He's not an untouchable keeper. So if I could, I would get rid and look to revamp that position for United. Again, if you look at one of the comments, people say De Gea is the least.
Yeah, big up Dantile, man. He is. But then Dan asked him the question, like, in an ideal world, who would he get rid of? Because I don't think De Gea is a major problem. I'll look at the team and go, but is he an issue? Yes, because you need a modern day goalkeeper.
It's like Ronaldo as well.
Yes,
he's an issue as well. He's our top scorer. So people think, how can our top scorer be an issue? Of course he's an issue. Of course he's an issue as well.
We just got bigger problems. So yeah, go on, Henderson, go on.
Yeah, Henderson, I can't lie, at this point, I'm not too fussed. I like him, and I wish he was given a chance to prove himself. I feel like last season he staked his claim pretty well. Obviously, everybody will remember the game against Liverpool where he didn't shine himself in glory, but I feel like last season he acquitted himself well. I think he would have started this season as first choice if it wasn't for the COVID that he got at the start. But quite frankly, I don't think the club trusts him to be number one. So I think he needs to go off and have a chance to be a number one somewhere and actually get consistent game time, because for pretty much 2 years now, he hasn't been a consistent number one. And to drop him in now, I just don't see how the club would do that. If they really wanted him to be number one, they would have given him a run this season. So I don't see it. Who else is there?
All right, so that's the goalkeepers we got. I'm literally looking at it now. Obviously, you got Lee Grant, Tom Heaton as the two other goalkeepers. Well, you've mentioned Lindelof as a squad player. Bailly leaving. Phil Jones, we don't even need to talk about. Harry Maguire, we don't need to talk about. Varane, obviously, you mentioned. Dalot, you mentioned. Luke Shaw and Tellers.
Again, hey, if I could get rid of both, I probably would. I can't lie to you. If I could get rid of both, I probably would. But again, realistic scenario and whatnot. Of the two, I'd keep Luke Shaw, believe it or not. I think he's the better left back. Just Tellers has got the left foot, but he's just not athletic. Again, modern day football. In a previous era, Tellers could have probably sufficed, but when I see him trying to overlap, I remember specifically just the Atletico game at home. Every time it'd take him an absolute age to support Jadon Sancho, and Sancho would end up being 2-on-1, and he'd have to give the ball up. It's just like we need our left back to be flying forward, up and down. Like, that's what a modern fullback
like Dalot does that.
Like, you need that sort of athleticism where they can get up and down and be a threat on the overlap, be a threat on the underlap. Tellers just isn't that. It takes him too long to get up there, too long to provide the option. Like, yeah, he's got the left foot, but just is.
I like him. I do like him as a squad player. Like, if he was to back up, because I'm just up to here with Luke Shaw, but that's just me and that. You know what I'm saying?
I've had it up to here with him as well, but
I've been here too long. I get you.
If you can make Luke Shaw, to be fair, I don't know about making Luke Shaw the squad option, because when he doesn't play, I can imagine his fitness.
Yeah,
one of those ones that needs to play to maintain the fitness. So again, that's why I'm not too high up on both of our fullback options. But if I could keep one, I'd probably keep Luke Shaw right now. But yeah, I understand why you fed up with him, because we're almost a decade in now, man. We're almost a decade in.
Yeah, it is. I know he's had 6 months of a good season. Moving up from him, Wan-Bissaka, I think that don't need to be even said. In that, I think Wan-Bissaka, we've exactly. Pogba will be leaving. So we'll talk about Pogba actually before we leave the show. But yeah, Pogba, it looks like he's on his way out. Wama, his contract's expiring, I believe, as well. So that's another one who'll probably be gone. Jesse Lingard, the same. Can't believe Pereira's still here. He must be out on loan.
Apparently, they agreed a deal with who was it? Who does he play for now? Atletico? No.
I don't even know who he played. The chat will let us know. I'm just glad he's not here anymore because he's awful.
Apparently, they agreed a deal, like they agreed a mandatory option, and they're trying to go back on it now. Apparently,
he's awful, man. He's awful. Fred, you already spoke on that. Diallo, I'd like to see come back. Do you agree with that?
I'd 100% like Diallo to come back. I'd love to. Like this is another thing where this has been another problem with United, where we've relied on players that's let us down so much and not given a chance to fresh blood.
Yeah,
that it's just you keep relying on the same guys that have let you down and let you down and let you down, and you keep expecting something different, and you haven't given a chance to some of these younger players that maybe, like, until you throw them in and until you see, we won't actually know whether they're a better option than what you're playing right now. People tell you they're not physically ready or they're not big enough, or stop that, because we've got big players that just simply cannot kick ball. For me, I'd rather the glimpses I've seen of the likes of Hannibal and the likes of Ahmad, I'd love to see them given a chance and just see what they can do, because in terms of a tech level, I feel like they're just on a different level to most of the midfielders that we've got that currently that consistently play for us. So the likes of Ahmad, I can't lie, we've already got there's not as if we've got a whole host of options on the right or a whole host of options in the 10. I'd love to see him. I'd love to see him just given a chance next season, get that run out, see what he can offer to the squad. Until you give him that chance, you won't know.
Facts. And I'm trying to see him just running through the rest of the squad. Bruno Fernandes, you know what I'm saying, a player who divides opinion. What's your answer?
Hey, so I tell you what, if we were still under Ole, I say we needed Bruno to work Ole's system, where it was literally give the ball to Bruno and he's gonna create something, or he's gonna do something to help us win. But we're moving away from that now. Like, if we want to do the whole structured thing, the whole philosophy, managers, the new managers' philosophy and tactics, and aligning it to an ideal and not one person or not specific players, I just don't see how Bruno sort of fits into that. I just don't see how Bruno's best when he has the ball and he's making a decision and he's able to do what he wants. That's when he's at his best. When a new manager comes in, hopefully, and brings in a philosophy and brings in his idea of how he wants to play, he won't get that opportunity to okay, I'm gonna try fling this 60-yard pass onto somebody's head, and if it doesn't work, I'm gonna try it again, and if it doesn't work, I'm gonna try again until it works. Would that work? Would that work in a Pep team? Would that work? Big
up Eddie in it. He's a regular in that, because Eddie is someone who, like, I thought I'm critical of Bruno. He's very critical of Bruno in it, and then you've got Dan saying something different. But we're gonna get to both these comments. But go on, carry on. That just made me laugh from Eddie. That's like,
all. Would Bruno survive in a Pep system? You have to ask yourself these questions. Would Bruno survive in a Klopp system, in a like, would he survive in these systems where it's not all about you?
He don't survive. He don't play for Chelsea, and their attackers ain't even all that. Like, but he don't in terms of like in one of the 6s or the 8s in the deeper. And even like, no, he doesn't. Like, he's of the level where if he was at Chelsea, their fans would want to get rid of him. He don't start for any of these sides. That's my point. But yeah, go on.
That's the standard that some of these other clubs, like, they just don't accept. Like, some of the mid that's produced, like,
and he just hella mid.
It's just mid. Like, it's sad because there's such a large fan base, large section of the United fan base that literally believe the sun shines out of Bruno's ass. Like, he can do no wrong. Nothing about United's current plight is to do with Bruno, according to some of these guys. Like, nothing. He's doing everything perfectly. So But
Yeah, like
if we want to move forward and we want to get better, I just don't see how.
big up Abadi who says we can't pigeonhole players, they have to adapt to a new system. Bruno's been cheated at UFC and so far. Because here's the thing is, because you can look at a player, like as I'm looking at all the players, is you haven't had any system, you haven't been under a system, but can you adapt to a system? Can I see you flourishing in a certain system? There's no system with a player like Bruno Fernandes and the attributes he has and the way he plays, where he flourishes being anything more than a squad player to me. He doesn't. I keep saying this. We talked about the goalkeeper situation and being a modern day goalkeeper. He is a shoot first midfielder. They don't exist anymore. The last first shoot midfielder that was around and was successful is now on loan at Everton, and that's Dele Alli. He's the last 10 who was shoot first. If you look at all of the attacking midfielders at the top level, they score goals, yes, but they are all creative first. If you look at City's midfielders, whether it's the players who play in the 2-8 spots or they interchange, they might play in the wide spots. Apart from, obviously, there's exceptions to the rule, but I'm talking more your midfield. So your Fodens, your De Bruynes, your Bernardo Silvas, your Gundigans. Yes, they can all score goals, but they're shoot first. I mean, they're creative first.
They're looking to make a pass.
If you look at Liverpool with, say, even though their system's slightly different and they have workhorses, but like Thiago, you could class, mate, he's a deep line playmaker. Deep line playmaker tells you playmaker. That tells you all you need to know. If you look at Real Madrid, like their attacking midfielders are all creative first. That shoot first 10 don't exist, and that's the problem. He's gonna pick up the ball from 25 yards out. He's trying to shoot. Most creative midfielders are trying to play a free ball, and that's not a shot at Bruno. He's just not in it. He's just the era's moved on, like the modern day goalkeeper thing. It's just moved on. But yeah, go on, Banks.
It's literally my biggest fear whenever Bruno gets the ball about 25 yards out, because I know in his head he's already thinking this before he's taking the shot. He's thinking this is going top bins. This is going top bins. He's already figured out his celebration. He's already doing this. He's got it figured out. Then when it goes to Rosie, he'll be like, and then he get the ball and do the same thing again. We can't keep living like this. We can't keep living like this. It's not right. It's not right. We can't keep living like this.
Nah, I get you. You are smart. That's why I'm tired. Right. Like I'm done. Like he's just not a modern day, innit? He's just not a modern day midfielder anymore. He's not a modern day 10 or modern modern day 8. You could argue if you have a workhorse of an 8. So like Liverpool, they'll have a Jordan Henderson who does the legs thing. Like he's a workhorse in there. But other than that, if you're talking a midfielder to get on the ball and dictate play, he's creative first, 100%. Yeah, you can't he's basically a striker who plays midfield. That's literally what he is.
He's genuinely a 9. He's genuinely a 9. He's like when it's all said and done, he's a 9. He's not a 10. He's not a 10.
He's a 9, and he's not even a very good 9, isn't it? People are like, oh, you play him as a false 9, like no, because he can't link up the play like that. And I like Bruno, like I said. The workhorse thing I think he can do, but it's being disciplined and having a manager who does that. If he was there and was playing as an 8 in a 4-3-3 and just getting up and down, because I think that's what he's good at, is he does have a great engine. He does get up and down. But it's even on the ball, man, like his decision making. And you're not 21.
Like you're not 21. You're genuinely like, I even think back to the Atletico game and I look, especially the first leg, and I look at your Portuguese counterpart, João Felix. That's what a false 9, that's what a number 10 should be playing like. Like he doesn't rush it. He didn't just take the shot because the shot is on. Like his thing was genuinely, let me bounce it and I can get it back. He's like, if I pass the ball, the attention's on the ball, then I can move. That's what Bruno doesn't like. He always wants the ball. He always wants to do something with the ball. He doesn't realize that if you give the ball up and move, you're in space because they're not watching you as closely. That's what the great 10s are doing. The great 10s are able to affect the game with their movement without the ball as much as with the ball. They can bounce it, get a move, get the ball back, and then you're in a better position to make a pass. That's what Bruno doesn't. I just don't think Bruno recognizes these sort of things as a 10. Like you don't always need to be on the ball, but with Bruno, he always wants the ball at his feet. He always wants to be taking the shots or making the killer pass. It's not all about making the killer pass off of nothing. Like literally, he'll try and make a killer pass out of nothing, and more time it won't work. But because he's got the ball so much and he's allowed to try it so often. Like I think it almost became a running joke on the Bruno on the Ole when they say Bruno lost the ball a lot today, and be like, oh, yeah,
Usual.
Expect. But it doesn't have to be like that. It generally doesn't have to be like that. You don't always have to have the ball. You don't always have to make the killer pass. That shouldn't be your job. It shouldn't be
all the time. It's decision making. So yeah, like I say with Bruno, like I'm pretty much like where we at. Matic, what are you saying about Matic?
Again, Matic, if you can keep if he's got one more year on his contract, right?
I believe so. Yes, I believe so.
That's the thing. Keep him, but you genuinely need more quality midfielders so he does not have to play as much. Like the fact that we were relying on Matic in a crunch Champions League knockout round in 2022 is despicable. The fact that we genuinely needed Matic to play in a crunch match in 2022 is despicable. We should have way more quality in our squad than relying on Matic in 2022. If Matic is able to play in that he should be playing that Fernandinho role right now, where I don't think I saw Fernandinho until the Christmas period, where he came in and he played a couple games, and then I've barely seen him since. That should be his role, where he can come in and plug a couple gaps when our main guys are a bit weary and they need a rest. He should be playing maximum like 15 games a season, but we generally need him in our best midfield to play 30, 35 games a season at the age of 34. It's not on. Keep him, but only on the
squad player
premise that we buy the quality that makes him basically unneeded.
Yeah. No, I hear what you're saying. I like the Fernandinho analogy. That's calm. Donny van de Beek.
Hey, if Ten Hag comes, hey, you know the Eddie Hearn meme where he's like, "How have you managed to wangle?" What does he say? How have you managed to do? What's the one where he goes like, "How have you managed to wangle that one? How have you managed to get?" I'm gonna find it and send it to you.
Yeah, find it to me. Yeah, because I watch a lot of Eddie Hearn's interview. I know what you're talking about out of context. I know exactly what you're talking about.
That if you manage to find a situation where his old dog Ten Hag becomes his manager, he would have gotten so much life, because I'm sure Ten Hag will be able to find a role for him.
Oh yeah, that's his guy. He's managed him. That's his man.
That's what I'm saying. Like if he can find if it ends up being Ten Hag, then I know he's gonna stay. He's gonna want to stay.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Is that it? Yeah. Oh yeah, Scott McTominay. I think like that's without question. You know what I'm saying? Like you ain't got to discuss certain players and that. Cristiano Ronaldo. I did the Bruno ticket.
These players, we've actually just given ourselves so many headaches.
Hella stress, man. Bad stress. Ask him a question about man.
It's a headache, because now my man's earning like 500k a week. Nobody's taking him. We need to buy. It's exactly the same as Matic, exactly the same as Lindelof, exactly the same. Like, we need to make him a squad player, a player that it's gone past that, because generally we all just gotta hold our hands up and say we kind of fucked up. We shut the bed a little bit in signing him, but he's here now. But we can't base everything around him anymore. It's not that anymore. He can still. I feel like he can still be a very good squad player if his ego allows it to be. If he's managed right and he's able to contribute to the squad, I feel like he can still be a very good member of the squad. But it's an ego thing at this point, where I'm sure he still believes he's able to play at the very top level and he shouldn't be on the bench for somebody else. But it's not that anymore. Like, you need to be a squad player. You need to allow the ego. It's not that anymore. You genuinely need to understand that if you can contribute to the United squad, lovely. I love it. But you cannot be our main guy anymore. You're not our main. You cannot be our main guy going into next season. 100%. Especially if the next manager doesn't believe. If the next manager doesn't believe he's going to fit into my system, we can't force the next manager to play using Ronaldo. Like, we can't force the next manager to rely on Ronaldo, because that's a recipe for disaster.
Facts.
Exactly what's going on with Ralph right now, in that he's basically alluded to the fact that Ronaldo isn't a good presser, the fact that Ronaldo isn't really a mobile guy anymore is an issue for United. We
Yeah, man,
can't
he's
allow
old, man. You need mobile people, man. Like
we
at
can't
issue,
allow
you
that
need
issue.
mobile people. Yeah,
We've identified that issue this season. We can't allow it to transfer to next season, and it's still a problem we're dealing with next season. We've all identified it with our eyes right now. It's out in the open. It needs to change next season. So I feel like he can still be a good squad player, but we can't rely on him for the whole season.
yeah. Anthony Martial.
Oh my dog! Oh my god! I hate what's happened to him, man. I hate what's happened to him. I feel like it needs to be a fresh start for brother, man.
Yeah, you reckon it's time for him to move on?
Man. I was even saying this in January as well. Like people were saying, "Do you want him to stage one?" Like I feel like he's right. Like he said it as well. Like he needed a new environment. He needed a new scenario, and I agree, man. It just hasn't worked out how we wanted it to work out, and it's sort of a situation where in the summer he could genuinely try and work his way back in because it's going to be a new manager. It's not like we've got a whole host of attackers in terms of strikers. He could genuinely come back and think, I could work my way back in. But for me, sometimes you just need a fresh environment, something new. He's been at United, 6, 7 odd years?
Yeah, because Van Gaal was the one who brought him in. Yeah, it was Van Gaal. Yeah.
And it just hasn't really clicked. Hasn't like there's been periods and moments and seasons where you're thinking he's definitely going to take the next step. And he just didn't. And it's like, well, at this point, we've got a plan for the future as well. He's 26. He's got to go somewhere and be a consistent starter. Get those reps underneath your belt. We've got to look to the future as well. It's kind of like at some point you got to break the cord and just let him fly out on his own. As much as from what I saw in 2015, 2016, I never thought it'd end up this way. I never thought.
It hurts me. You sounded like me right now. Neither did I, and to the point where I'm like, unless Ten Hag or whoever the new manager comes in, whichever manager comes in and it decides that Martial is their guy, like he has to be that. There's none of this 50-50 stuff, like grey area. Like he has to be the main man, and then that's it. And build a system
around the main man, or you're just not the man at all. The main man or not the man at all.
100%. And here the thing is with Jabata with this, because he says, nah, that's disrespectful, my guy, squad player. Wow, the disrespect is mad out here. If Matt is still a squad player, CR7 can't be touched. We said Matt is on his way out. And it's not, again, this is nostalgia. Nostalgia kills Jabata. I don't know your age, but this is nostalgia. Ronaldo is not the guy anymore. And this is someone coming from someone who, I remember Ronaldo when he arrived at Manchester United. I'm a team when Ronaldo arrived. I'm a teenager. I'm in high school. Gassed off him landing, and I remember all the good times. He's one of my favorite Manchester United players of all time. He's one of my favorite footballers of all time. He's just not that anymore. This isn't 2008 Ronaldo at Manchester United, and we've seen that. Will he still score goals? Yes. Ronaldo could be 45 and still scoring goals because he is Cristiano Ronaldo, and you don't lose the knack of scoring goals. But for where Manchester United are trying to go and compete, Ronaldo is not it anymore. He don't start for any of our rivals. He don't start for any top team anymore. And that's not disrespect. 5 times undefeated. Man's what? 37, 36, 30. How old's Ronaldo? 36, 37. Like, it makes sense. Like, he's at 37. It's like Messi. Like, 5 times undefeated. Like, Messi is no longer Messi anymore. Again, is he still quality and can score goals and impact games? Of course. Same with Ronaldo. We've seen it against Spurs. Ronaldo is still capable of impacting games without question. But he's not that anymore. It's not disrespectful. He needs to come do the squad player thing. It's like Chelsea fans want Hazard back. Same shit. That's all nostalgia. It's a nostalgia thing.
Jabata, he's genuinely 30. He's gonna be 38 next season.
Yeah, man. Like, you can't be leading the line. 38-year-old leading the line.
Like, we've got to move on, man. Whether it's the manager thing, the player thing, we can't keep looking at the past. We keep wanting to reinvent the past. We gotta look to the future, man. Look to
the future. Last one we'll do is because Cavani's looking like he'll leave anyway, and Sancho is a dead cert. You've already spoke on Marcus Rashford.
Hasn't been here this whole season. He's been on holiday this whole season.
Marcus Rashford.
I've never seen a man abuse annual leave like he has. I've never seen it before. He has abused annual leave.
So Baza, it is just quickly on Marcus Rashford because I know you got a dip for a minute. Go and talk about that quickly.
Oh my! I don't know whether this pains me more than what's happening. Oh my God! I can't believe what's happening to my boy. Rashford, I pray you find yourself, because this is not Rashford. I don't know what's going on, but this is not the Rashford that I know. Like, even last season, he wasn't playing particularly well, but he was still banging in the goals. But I put it down to he's playing injured. When he gets that surgery and he gets right, he's gonna explode. And he somehow managed to be worse since the surgery. He genuinely has not been the same player. Like, I would have taken the injured Rashford. I take the injured Rashford right now over what's like. My guy doesn't make good decisions. Every time it looks like that cameo against Atletico.
It's one of the worst cameos I've ever seen, fam.
Bro.
One of the worst cameos I've ever seen.
I don't think he completed a pass until the 89th minute.
Something like that. It's 44% pass accuracy. He had 44%.
Every time he got the ball, he gave it away.
Right.
And that's just symptomatic of what's been going on with him. It's so deep because there's a player there, and you just know there's a player there, but he's not showing it to you. And as we go into this new part of United's journey, we can't afford to carry memories of the past. We can't afford to carry Rashford was cold a couple seasons ago. He's going to get back to that level. If he's not showing it on the pitch, it's so hard to justify keeping him around and justify saying he needs to be part of that.
Keep going. 1 sec, fam. Go on. 1 sec.
He generally has to show us that there's still a player there, that there's still something worth keeping, because right now, I just don't see it. I just don't see where we go from here with Rashford. How do we get him back to the player that we know he can be? I really, 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 really hope he finds himself towards the end of the season, because what I'm seeing from Rashford right now, I just don't see how we continue. I just don't see how he's an option next season. Playing like this, I don't see how he's an option next season. I wish I knew what was going on with brother, because the player I know Rashford can be in terms of being the explosive dribbler, he's actually an excellent passer, a creative player, can take players on, has got a great shot. But he has it like, it's as if all of these on a Space Jam thing, you know, when they take the powers in Space Jam, that's
I know exactly what you're saying.
That's what it feels like what's going on with Rashford right now. They're taking his powers.
I know exactly what you're saying. Yeah.
And I need him to get it back before the end of the season, because I genuinely can't. I don't think he would get sold this season. To be fair, there's talks of him wanting to leave, him not knowing.
Because he's bemused by why he's not getting game time, and it's like, you're not getting game time because you haven't been good. That's why.
Generally have not been like. I think he started two of the last 11 or 12 matches.
Yeah, and it's right. Like, your form dictates that.
I genuinely think he probably deserves to start none of them.
Yeah,
he probably deserves to start none of them. So I hope he manages to get his form back before the end of the season, because going into next season, I don't see how I justify him being part of the squad or him being a big option at the squad. Facts. If he's playing like how he's playing now. I hope he gets it back, because there's a player there. Undoubtedly.
We all want him to like turn his form around. We want to be wrong about all these players and that. Like, as Manchester United fans, we don't want to be right. I don't like being here and being critical of Ronaldo or Bruno or Rashford or whoever and that. I want all these players to be 10-10. I want all of these players to be 10-10. But guess what? They're just not. You know what I'm saying? And they're just not. And like, Ronaldo is no longer that he used to be. Ronaldo used to be world class. You know what I'm saying? Clutch difference maker. He's just not that anymore. And that's not a shot. Man's 37. There's no other 37-year-olds out here carrying teams, to my knowledge, that I know at the highest level. But yo, Banks, we're gonna cut it here anyway. But yo, big up for jumping on. It's good to have you back on here as well.
No, love every time for bringing me on. By the way, I think this is my third time. I think it's my third time jumping on. Yeah, I think it's third time.
Sick. Nah, definitely get you on again. And yo, anything you want to promote or plug before we leave the show?
Yeah, man, you lot see it in my little thing there. Banks _tier3 for the Twitter and Instagram, and make sure you follow the Final 3 RD on YouTube and Twitter and Instagram. Subscribe to us on the YouTube, the Final 3 RD, the Final Third. Big up Flawless for bringing me on Sarcasm. It's always love here. Always great to top it up, especially about United. It's always paying me United right now, but we chop it up.
You always feel better after this, innit? These are like
Yeah,
therapy sessions. I say this
it's
all the
therapy,
time.
man. You just need to chop it up
You feel
sometimes.
better.
But thank you for bringing me on. And yeah, smash the like button for this video. And if you haven't subscribed, I don't know what you're doing. Just subscribe to this channel right now. I don't know.
Make sure you subscribe, people. Facts. Subscribe to Sarcasm City TV. Make sure you go subscribe to the Final Third. Big up Kojo. Go subscribe to the Third in Midfield. If you're following me on Twitter and Instagram, that's me, Flawless. You'll find Banks, the Final Third. Same with Kojo and Free in Midfield. All their socials as well. So make sure you keep up to date. When are we next back? We're back on this channel probably late today, people. Late Q&A. So it'll either be like, yeah, gone midnight, so it'll be 12:30, 1 a.m. late. Sarcasm City Sports Q&A. I didn't do one yesterday because of the NBA, so I moved it till Thursday. So keep an eye out on that, people. But check out the upcoming live stream schedule. Again, lets you know all the shows that are coming up, all of the NBA watch-alongs, all the Q&A that will happen on Sunday as well. So keep an eye out. Go hit the notification bell on all them, because sometimes when you go live on YouTube, it doesn't notify you for whatever reason, innit? And we'll be back the ManDem United podcast Tuesday, people. We're still going to continue with Manchester United content, because I'm sure between now and Tuesday there'll be more news in regards with Ten Hag and just typical Manchester United, because we are Hollyoaks FC. There's always a story with us. There's always something going on, so we'll be new, and I'm gonna keep the show on the road. But love to everyone who continues to support. And this has been the ManDem United podcast on the Sarcasm City TV YouTube. Big up.